that's pretty much all. That's where I'm at, man. I'm so happy. You know, uh, so when I was doing those rhythms, if you guys watched all these videos, there was so much, like the rhythm. I was feeling like it was so, like the rhythm guitars were so like Bark at the Moon. But then as I started to add the leads and the octaves and the keyboards over it, the rhythm guitars kind of started to just be like a part of the sound. It wasn't like an Ozzy record where it was like it was all about Jake or Randy's rhythm. It was now this whole other thing. There's a whole bunch of things. So it was like, and I naturally just, it didn't occur to me that I let it go until like I realized I'm like, oh man, like they're there and you can hear them and you can feel them, but it doesn't sound like I don't know by Ozzy where it's like wah, like you're not hearing that. Um, but that was also maybe I don't know, maybe that was an early '80s thing, and now I'm doing whatever I'm doing, which I don't really know quite what this is, but it's something. But anyway, I'm so happy. I'm so happy, and I'm not having to send this out and see if other people are happy about it. I'm happy. So a couple of things. We'll go through this mix really quick, and I'm going to tell you some funny stories. First of all, this morning I'm down 10.2 pounds since getting back from LA. This is the first time I've lost double digits in years. I don't know. I just had like an epiphany or a moment of clarity or an awakening, and I'm just on like another path now, and I'm so excited. Not only that my look is a part of my career, but I also have a family and kids, and it would help if I didn't die. Or that I just was just down the wrong path, and then showing them, hey kids, be like dad. Yeah, take the woes of the world out on pizza. So that it feels so good. I feel so good. I weighed in this morning. I'm down 10.2 pounds in I think 11 days. So I've been going at it hard. Food's been like I'm just on a path. I've only eaten out once since I got home, and I stayed on my diet. We went to Longhorn, and I went onto the menu, figured out the calories, entered it into MyFitnessPal. Like I went there and I was like, all right, this is budgeted in, and we're doing it. So that's one. Also, my wife has been having back problems. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but so we bought a new bed. Right? Wow. We looked at Tempur-Pedic. Oh my God, that's expensive. But we bought kind of a Serta version. It's actually, I liked the Serta version better than the Tempur-Pedic personally. It was more comfortable. The Tempur-Pedic felt very foamy. It felt really weird. Like it felt like I was laying on a seal or something. I don't know. But we're gearing up for that. We're trying to get rid of beds, and I don't know why I'm telling you. It's like, what is this? Coffee talk? Anyway, I'm just, good things are happening. And then, so as far as this mix, yesterday, so what's today? Tuesday? Right? Yeah, so I think Sunday I set this mix up and got a little rough going on, which was weird. Like there were just a couple of things going on, and I remember I pulled in this template from one of my last instrumentals. So it had the drums here. It had the drum mix set up for for Superior. So and I put it. I flew everything in, and it was sounding strange. Well, that was an incredible experience yesterday. And I think I haven't been like, summers are a lot of travel and a lot of hustle for me, for work. It's not like a lot of me sitting in here grinding. That's not what happens for me a lot. Summer is go see the world and you know, stimulate fresh things for the studio, not sit here and worry about kick samples. But yesterday was sit around here and worry about kick samples. But so I've been a little out of that groove maybe. So I set this thing up. It sounds weird. I'm like, how does this sound weird? Like, this is the same. It's like it's the same person programming the same drum program, doing this. You know, it's like all the same. Anyway, to make an extremely long story short, because it took me pretty much the whole day to realize how bad I had messed this up. So you'll see here. So look here, guys. This is the kick in. It says kick in, but it's actually just the kick. This is the kick from Superior. And then you cut this kick from Superior into the kick trigger. And then this has trigger on it, and then there's samples, a couple samples. Then there's snare one, which is actually, well, it's just called snare top, which is really just snare. This is the snare now from Superior. So basically I work in Superior in stereo, everything out 1, 2. Once I get it all going, I have a little template that I fly in that has, kick, snare, so then all I do is just hit record it down, and then print it. Because, and this is just for me, I don't like mixing with Superior running. Like at that point I just wanted audio. I'm good with the samples. I've made the commitments. I'm not mixing in Superior. So anyway, but when I pulled in the template has all the drum tracks. There's no tracks on it. I hope you're following me. I pull in the mix template, and all the drum tracks are there from the last mix, but there's no actual tracks. It's just kick in, kick trigger. So then all I do is just take this audio from my programming, pull it into this, and then it's already on the same track. And the reason you do that is because your levels are pretty much set. You've got all your EQs, your distressor, and you've got all your routing out to your subs and your crushes. So you just basically lay this in to the template, and voila, you hit play, and it pretty much sounds exactly like whatever you just mixed previously with the same programming. Well, when I went to pull over these drums, I made a mistake, and I know what I did now. I was just I wasn't even in a hurry. I just was being haphazard. Haphazard, that was my dad's favorite saying. Son, don't be haphazard. Lazy man does twice the work. These are sayings of Rafael Cisclo Lugo from Cuba, my dad. Son, don't be haphazard. I miss that dude. Anyway, what I did was, on the snare sample, the snare track, which is routed through the snare, I accidentally put the kick drum from. So I had the kick drum from Superior on this kick track. I also had the kick drum from Superior on the kick trigger track, so that kick drum was now just triggering trigger. And I had the kick drum on the snare track. Well, that took a while in hindsight, I absolutely was not on my A game, because I didn't even notice that, like, the snare and the kick were, the fader, the plasmas were moving at the same time. Faders, whatever they're called, meters. So the kick sounded like it had no low end, and it didn't feel pillowy at all. It felt hard. I don't know. So I'm like, anyway, I'm messing with this, I'm messing with the kick trigger, the kick track, and I'm also messing with the kick sub, and I'm like doing all this. Not that that's normal EQ, but I remember at one point I had added another EQ, and I was just boosting low end, and I've also got a boom track which comes off of here. You'll see the little bus and the boom track. goes to a separate track here that has root 1, just like a subharmonic generator, and I had that thing like boo. So when I put that through the roof, I had to cut it down on the bass. Still wasn't giving me the low end. Anyway, then I figured out what I had done wrong. And then once I put the snare back on the snare, now the kick was like so boomy, because it wasn't like there was some interference going on, and the snare was so loud. So it kind of butchered the mix, so I kind of had to like, whoa, back to reality. But then there was still something going on. I'm going to make this quick. And then I looked down and I'm like, what the heck is going on? I had like the overheads on the mono hi-hat track. It was like, what? And then the rooms were on the overs and the overs were on the rooms. Like the routing was backwards, and the overs had been somehow I probably had split it into mono, and so I was only on one side of the room, was up the middle. Like it was, so I ended up going back into the Superior and I rebounced it, and I also added a ride because there was like a big ride part, and it just felt like, yeah, it just needed its own track. So it ended up being, but when all that was done, it took me a long time to figure out that I had botched this. So I don't know if the story will ever help anybody, but in the words of my father, don't be haphazard. Oh, I'm already up. My alarm's telling me to get up. I'm already up. All right, so anyway, there you go. So here's your drums. So here's your drum. It's all kind of a little verby, but I don't know. I just like it. So there it is. Kick and kick trigger are going to kick sub. Snare 1 and snare again is like kick and snare. Those are just the programming from Superior. So here's the kick and snare from Superior. Come on, feel the noise, girls rock. So you'll see kick is here. So the kick is busting over to here, and it's got like this. You know, get a little of that, and then a little of that, and then this JST clip. My friend got me into this. I think this is Joey Sturgis. Is that what it is? Yeah, I think it's Joey Sturgis. This is great, and we put it on, you know, a lot of kick, snare, toms kind of thing. So there's your kick. Again, a little bit of reverb, and I've talked about this in the past. A lot of times when I program drums, a little bit of reverb on the kick just goes a long way, because just dry kick just sounds, unless you're doing like, you know, Slipknot metal and you just want brrr, I'm not into that. And then here is now the kick trigger. That Andy Wallace kick is awesome. And then together. And then snare and snare trigger. Yeah, and there you go. So then here's your drums. I'll give you my little tick-a-boom. And I program this myself. And I don't even think I even nudged anything. I think this is just how it came out. So you got kick and snare here. Tom sub, we've got tom 2 and 3, panned. Okay. And then ride, hi-hat and overs are going through overs, and then room is just going straight out to the drum bus. So the room is the only one that's, the room is the only one that's not going through a sub or a bus or sub. So I think it was just, we just wanted to treat it separately in case we wanted to squash the living daylights out of it, which I don't know, sometimes. So then here's the drum bus. This becomes your gas pedal for all the drums. And then I've got a drum crush. So all these have buses for drum crush. Kick I keep down low, because it can really jack up the low end will jack up the drum crush, which is like your parallel, and then I just got, you know, slamming fatso. There it is. And then I've got a drum verb, and then I've got a snare verb. So we're doing the, you know, Ryan Williams got me into the old SSL thing, which is mainly putting, and I think this is like the Bob Clearmountain thing. I'm by no means an expert on talking about all this, but it's like, instead of having reverb on like the snare itself, which is going to be like a lot of ghost notes, the mic's going to be picking up cymbals and drums, or if you gate it, you know, like it's like you're just giving it a clean. So here's just the snare sample, right? The trigger. Just getting what he used to say is that this would be like, the more you bring it in, the bigger the drum set, the less the smaller the drum set. So it does sound a little bit like overcooked right now. I kind of just like the way it sounded. I don't know. It just was. What's that Kiss song? The one from the 80s. Hey. I can just hear Gene say, hey! And licensing people love this because it harkens to a time that moves dudes that are sitting home watching TV and have good jobs. You guys following me? You're following me, right? It's older guys. All right. Shut up. Well, there's the drums. And I cut out the toms, not that there was any kind of bleed, because there wasn't. But the toms themselves, like, were like, doo, like the from Superior, so I just cut them down. Coming out, because with them just long, it was like boom. I felt like maybe it was attacking that boom track, the subharmonic generator. So yeah, this is what I did. Oh, bass. So I've got a bass DI, which is the KGB, and I got a bass Sans, which I was using the RBI because this is my bass, my whatever dude, the Lakeland 5-string. There's time adjuster on here. Yeah, I'm not even using it. Yeah, it's just 115. It's, yeah, these don't even matter. I don't know why. I used to use them because I would use Kemper too, and I don't need them. Now these two, you'll see outputs of the bass bus, but then also the DI goes into this crush, which is a parallel, which has Mammoth and Devil Lock. I mean, I am just obliterating this thing. Let me see if I can. Right, and if I'm messing with this thing, I go all the way up so you can hear it, and then Apple Z back, which is like undo or whatever. I don't try to start moving it down because I where the mix is at, I don't want it to move. So there you go. So here's bass and drums. Who's excited? Yeah, this is why I think if you're like a musician that has, you know, I'm just gonna lay this, you know, if you're a musician that has landed yourself into this world, I think you gotta keep doing your own music, because it just has to be music that you don't have to get approval from other people that are paying for it. Like, it's just you. It's just your thing. You're enjoying it. You're having fun. And you're also like experiencing, because I learned a lot of things on this that I wouldn't learn always on, making a pop record. This had its own thing. So anyway, here's your main guitars, and you will see now. So this is my mix bus. Here, we'll start with the mix bus. So I've got drums and bass, then the mix bus. It's kind of a little bit set up somewhat like an SSL, except, in the middle here, there would be whatever those faders were called. I can't remember, but all the bus faders, but there's none of that here. So here's the mix bus. So the mix bus, I have an amp, and then sometimes, like, if the mix is really good, there's just a couple things I just want to, like, do this. I'll just throw a little bit of a fab filter on it and just not mess with the amp that much, just because, I don't know, the fab filter is just a little bit more like you just like do your thing. It's not like set points or anything like this. I don't know. It's just easier. A little bit of, I'll mute this, a little bit of, what happens sometimes it mixes everything, just kind of, you start bringing it up, bringing it down. But it sounded good, so I'm not worried about it. So that's like your little SSL. This is a fantastic. These SSL from the SSL suite are just killer, man. And then I've got Ozone. I did a little master, and there it is. Just gives me my last dude out, and this is again, this is how I do it. A lot of times too, if I'm in the middle of mixing and I'm getting somewhere, I'll throw that on before I send it to clients. This is just me. Y'all do however you want to do, but unless a client is like some kind of an engineer and he's like, hey, I just want a no limiter bounce, I don't send those out that much ever, because people don't understand, what we're doing when we're doing all this. And, you send them something, that's minus 15, and then they listen to it, and then they put on the new Nicki Minaj, and it blows their head off. And they're like, oh, well, the new Nicki Minaj is better. Yours is less better. I'm telling you, man, that's just been my experience. Obviously, if it's a label and they're like, hey, we just want to hear it with no limiter, fine. But unless it's requested, you're getting it like this. That's just me. So now we go to the main guitars. Oh, yeah, main guitars. Oh, geez, Louise, right? And that's, I think, yeah, that's, I think this is my Strat with the matchless on the left, Mark V on the right. This would have been even chimier with the Recto, but it's got to be second position on my Strat. And then you bring in the 12 string and the Strat on the, doing the arpeggio. And that's very low in the mix, just is, crunch guitars. Might have been a low cut there, but it's just how I liked it in the end. So the way it works is I've got my 2 clean guitars, my main guitars here, and they're busing to guitar sub 1. This is the 12-string arpeggio that's going to 2, guitar sub 2. The crunches are going to guitar sub 3, and then all of the octave solos are going to guitar sub 4. And you'll see out of the bottom of these subs, these yellow subs, like the Yellow Submarine. Yeah, I never thought of that. Hey. They're all going out to guitar sub, which is this guy, which is inputting. And this has the Wango Tango Wow thing. So they're widened. And there it is. And then you come down here and you've got your main octave guitar. That JCM 800 is just money. Money Crockett, king of the wild frontier. So that's my green Les Paul. This is now my green Les Paul into the 800. Same thing, a little bit of Strymon timeline echo in the loop. Woo! George Lynch should be proud. An old guy doing old guy music. How? I don't know, man. And then Jangle. So this is again at the 800 with the timeline, and now I've got my Dano. This I ended up getting rid of most all that top end because once it was in the mix, it was too much. And this has that. Remember that piano that parallels it on the back end. And then coming down to the keyboards, we've got our main. What's it? I don't know. It sounds like the Cars. Moving in stereo. And then we got piano 1, which is over the solo. I'll even put the solo on. Cut on the piano just because there was so much booty on the song, and then that piano that's at the end over the jangle part. I cut quite as much lows on that, and then you'll see that these 3, yeah. Oh, that's the guitars. Hold on. So this is the solo piano. And this is the jangle piano. Yes, it's a little bit different. I left a little more booty on that over the jangle part. And then this guitar sub, which has... Oh, see, this is not even going to the... Oh, so that's not even going to the music bus. The only thing going to the music bus... yeah, I don't know why I did that, but I did that. The only thing going to the music bus is the keys, and here's the music bus, and the Music Crush. The Music Crush just has has this, but all it has is keys going through it. I kind of changed the way this was set up. Anyway, there it is, music. So is that everything? Let's hear a little bit from the beginning. What's the bass all of a sudden sound super loud? Did I mess with the bass? Oh, did I mess something? Was this bus not up here? That doesn't sound right now. Hold on. Let me just try something here. Oh. So, let's go to 7. Let's go to 747. This is definitely before the bass was in the video. Let me just see if that's the same, or maybe my ears are just going crazy. No, that was it. Okay. Well, that's so strange. All of a sudden the bass just sounds really loud to my ear. Feels nice in my truck though, boy. It's a nut rattler. Alright, give me 1 second. I took this out to the truck a bunch of times yesterday, just kind of trying to listen. Wait a second. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Wow. Oh, that's it. Let me open up from yesterday. No, not yet. Not that. Ah! Cancel. Cancel, cancel, cancel. It's like from Bruce Almighty. Or Liar, Liar. Let me see. Am I losing my marbles? Maybe I am. Maybe he's losing his marbles. It looks the same, but it sounds way different. And I don't know where. This is what it should sound like. That's so weird. Save from here and go back, and anyway, there you go. So that's the mix. I turned the drums down in the intro where the kick was, you know, like too heavy in the it was just too heavy before. Kicks down just a little bit too, just because it felt like it was really not any automation. It's just a band, you know. It just feels like a band. Well, it's not a band, it's me, but it's just like, you know, the dynamics are within the playing. I did a little bit here. I tucked in the rhythms over the octave, over the jangle. Goes. I don't know what I did. That was weird. I definitely bumped something. So we're going to do a save as, and we're gonna replace the mix 1 here, and because because I didn't do anything this morning. I just came in. I did something weird. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Now, my friend Kirk Adams, who I grew up with, who has this killer video. I know I've talked about this in the past. Kirk Adams Undertow or something like that. Where did his video go? What? Maybe it's undertone. Oh, that's what it is. I think it's undertone. Here it is. So he made this video with, not with that phone though. Ugh. Anyway, he made this video here.
Undertone.
You guys had such a, it's like perfect. Anyway, so he made this video with a AI program or whatever app. Anyway, I was gonna do is I wanted to do. I called him up. I'm like, which one did you use? He told me, and I went. It was like out of business, or like it was like shut down, or I don't know. It was all this drama with it anyway. But it's back up. I looked last night, so I'm gonna make a cool AI video of this song. So I'll send out this video today. Send this out to you guys today, and I'll also have the tracks in the description so you can download these tracks and mix it yourself if you want. And I'll also make an AI like a music video. I'm making a music video. We need dancers. We need Kanye West. We need a girl in saran wrap that looks like Stay Puft Pop. What's the name of that thing? The popcorn that you put in the micro. I don't know. Stay Puff. I don't know what it is. I'm just kidding. That's not what we need. Anyway, there it is. So, and one other thing, and then the video's over. Anything you see G1, G2, those are two performances. So for this, I pan it right and left. The guitar, but then you'll come here, watch, and you'll see G1 800 G1 Recto. That's one performance. Remember, that's the split, and these are the surreactive loads, right? The other side is G2 800 in Recto, so that signifies that. Those guitars sound like the way I listen to them solo, and I'm like, yeah, that's too much. But I just arrived there. I don't know why. Just kind of overdid it a little bit. A little better. I kind of was resigned to them feeling a little more like if they feel, but they're a little more buried sound-wise. I don't know. I kind of see why I had him the way I had him. I think because of the octave was so where the octave was. Listen to sometimes stuff soloed. I mean, if you guys have ever gotten any of the splits of these big famous records and listened to them, like everything can sound crazy. That's just in the tracking, it'll be weird, but then if you listen to them ever when there's, like the little behind the music, and things will sound weird and clanky or whatever, but within the context of it. So that's why when I soloed this, it was like, it felt like too boomy or too, like not enough top. Once I brought the top up to where it felt good soloed, I didn't like it in the song as much, so. I think that was the only thing I had done when I first walked in, was just extend this out. Yeah, and the only other thing I remember now, so I'll just do it, is I just had the octave up just a hair. That'll work. The other thing that happened weird yesterday, and it happens every now and then with my rig, all of a sudden it'll pop up and it'll say that some UA plugin was disabled. And then, I get rid of the thing, and I look down here and I'm like, well, I'm only at 35%. I'm not using that much UA anymore. Boy, if I could go back in time. Don't get me started. But I'm still a little bit salty about UA. But it did that thing, and then I got out of it. Everything seemed fine. I bounced it out. I went out to the truck, and the snares were flamming. Everything was flamming. I'm like, what? Sometimes, if UA gets out of sync, it throws the delay compensation. I don't know. It does something delay compensation. So anyway, all I did was just shut everything down, restart, and it was fine. But yeah, that was yesterday. So there was a lot going on. So anyway, again, the tracks will be in the description. You guys stay safe. Everything's good. Life is good. We're on the right path. I'm telling you, it's going to be okay. It all does seem a little scary, but it's getting better. Right? Peace.